webinar on how to future-proof your business and prepare for the new normal. At the outset, let me thank ZillionCubes and the management of Hindustan Educational Institution and the CEO in specific for giving us an opportunity to organize this program. As well as I also express my gratitude to the speaker, Nishidha Kumaresan, who has accepted to be with us for this program. I welcome you all for joining this. I take pleasure in introducing the speaker of today's webinar, Nishidha Kumaresan. She is the founder CEO of Forbes Technology Council USA. She is an IT professional with 15 years of experience in the area of project management and business analysis, focusing on strategic decision-making areas of a corporate and supporting them with winning strategies. She has been awarded as the best CEO in 2018, Entrepreneur 360 Winner Award for the companies in US 2018 and 2019. She's been awarded the Transformational CEO in 2019 in US. She has been administered as the most admired women leader in 2019 in US. She has been adjudged as a revolutionary CEO of 2019. She has also been given the award as Magnet CEO Beyond Achievement 2019. Her experiences in the corporates are with the corporates like Pioneer Technologies US, Forbes Technology Council, Technovantas Incorporation US, Enzyma Technology Solution, FedEx, Thomas Reuters US, American Airlines US, Pegasus Solutions, and few more. She has graduated from PhD Krishnamurti College for Women, Coimbatore. Basically, she hails from Coimbatore, now settled in US. She has done a certificate program in Management Information System from Lebeta Community College, US, and MBA from Pittsburgh State University. On behalf of all Hindustan educational institutions and ZillionCubes and the participants, I welcome to this webinar. Over to you, Pati.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving such opportunity for joining hands and connecting this webinar. And on behalf of ZillionCubes, I really thank the Hindustan Management CEO, Dr. Karnagaran sir, and all the chairpersons and the director of MBA, and all the faculty members of Hindustan Business Schools and Hindustan institutions. And I also thank the today's speaker, Nishidha Kumaresan, who has accepted our invitation immediately, and she was very happy to give an enlightening session to our learning community. Our participants, the YouTube participants and Google Meet participants, thank you so much for joining with us for the session. And yes, today's session is going to be a eye-opener for everyone, and this will enlighten to take us to the new normal and next level too. Thank you so much, sir. And over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pati. Over to Nishita.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Pati. Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. Ellarukkum vanakkam. I was very excited about this session because I was born and brought up in Coimbatore, so it's such a pleasure meeting all of you online and also having this opportunity to speak with all of you to share some information.
Nishi, any problem?
Yeah, I'm trying to open up the presentation, Pati.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry everyone, I'm just trying to open up my presentation here. Um, is everyone able to see the presentation?
Yes, yes, Nishi, go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. So basically, I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship. Some of the most important things, because with COVID or no COVID, we still have to have certain things that we have to know when we want to become entrepreneurs. So I thought I would touch upon those things and then address the other topics as well. So a little bit about my journey. It started with a lot of challenges, then came responsibilities, and that led to my becoming an entrepreneur. So the challenge, my initial challenge as an individual started when I was in ninth grade. So I attended two exams the entire year because I was unwell, and being promoted to the 10th grade was a huge deal, and it happened, and my family told me, you just have to pass, and that's good enough. So I did try to make up for everything that I missed. I gave it my best, but when the results came in, my aunt accompanied me to school, and then I came back and I said, okay. And my percentage wasn't that bad for those days. It was 76 or 78 or something like that. And when I told her, she was happy I got through. But then the reaction on the face, I have never seen that kind of an expression on her face. And that picture stayed in my head for the longest time. And I wanted to make sure that I don't see disappointment in my family's face ever. So I struggled in high school, and finally, when I completed high school, um, I was awarded the best outgoing student along with other merits, and my aunt accompanied me to those ceremonies as well. And then I saw her face light up. And for me, until today, that is one of my biggest accomplishments. And the reason I say that is because that one challenge that I took up made me realize that if I put my mind to something, I would be able to do it. So that was my first starting of getting the feeling of accomplishing something great. And then came my undergrad. I did pretty well in my undergrad as well. And then I wanted to pursue my master's degree. Leaving India was never my dream. I wanted to live in India, but but I wanted to move to a different state to experience life. So, but my mom was very particular that okay, if you're leaving the state, might as well leave the country. So I said okay, and I landed here. I was excited to be in the US as a student, and the first 1 week was fine. And after that, I kind of figured that the bubble that I lived in slowly cracked open, and there I was all by myself alone. I had no idea how to manage my finances. I had no idea about uh, doing a job. I had no idea about a lot of things. So the first thing that I did was I found a job. It was in the dining hall at my university. So some of the tasks that I performed there were washing dishes, mopping floors, janitorial services. So I mentioned these because these were the things that taught me the dignity of labor. It doesn't matter what you do, it's how you do it, how much effort you put into it, and what you can accomplish with it. So those small um, tasks, which normally growing up in India, we don't look at those things with that much respect as a corporate job. But for me, that was different. I learned to appreciate. And I used to work many hours, work with different people from different countries, different environments, learned a lot of things. So some of the things I learned along the way, which I I don't think I would have learned if I was in India, because my family sheltered me basically. So for me, it was I had to be here to learn all of those things, which is people skills, learning how to make decisions on my own, um, uh, kind of making even the smaller decisions, because calling home every day was impossible those days. It was very expensive to do that. And some of those were bigger decisions too that I slowly learned to take, and also taking a little bit of risks. And finally, I graduated. Once I graduated, again, the economy here was not doing well at that point of time. So I had to join another college, take up another degree. And then when I completed that, I found a job. I started working as a business systems analyst, because I had a combination of uh, business and software along the way. So that kind of fit. Um, uh, I fit into that business analyst, systems analyst profile. So I started working. I worked for quite a few Fortune 500 companies. And since I worked for different companies, actually, they were clients to the company that I worked for. I was able to gather a lot of things. I worked for different managers. I worked for different teams. I learned a lot about business processes and also about technology while I was there. So that kind of gave me all of the knowledge that I needed to finally build my business. So while the challenges were there was one thing that I don't know what I should call it. I should call it, I wouldn't call it a bad situation. Somehow it's some kind of a divine intervention that happened in 2009. Again, another recession time. I visited India, I came back, and within a month, my mom was sick. So I had to go back again. I was there for some time. I didn't have a job. I had to come back, look for a job. I had more responsibilities now. So I took up a job, and then I was thinking, I have to do something more. For me, I don't think that I have to do something more would have come had it not been for that particular situation. So I started working the job alongside. I started building my business. In the sense, I kind of started gathering everything I needed to start the business. So when I was 3 months into the job, I was finally in a position to hire somebody who can manage operations for me. Then I continued working my job. Um, the girl that I hired and myself, we kind of built the company to an extent where I could quit my job and come back and take care of the business completely. So that is how Pioneer Technologies was born. So that is a little bit about my journey in becoming an entrepreneur. So what according to me is an entrepreneurship, because we read a lot of definitions, but for me, basically this is what I for me, based on my experience, this is what I think defines entrepreneurship. The first thing being that you can be your own boss. You can also let your fear drive your passion. When I say fear drive your passion, when we start a business, we are basically the first thing that we encounter is fear of failure. So when we let that fear take over, that, that is the end of everything. So the fear of not um, being able to do things correctly, that should actually you know, be able to support you in a lot of ways, in the sense you have to you know, it'll help you look at things differently, analyze things differently. So all of those things will finally drive your passion. So for me, my my passion was my job was my passion, in the sense I enjoyed doing my job. I enjoyed helping people solve um, their problems. So that was my passion. So you know, all of it put together, I was able to do what made my heart flutter. So so you know, putting a smile on a client's face is what makes me happy. And then with all of those things going on, that is what leads to a sense of fulfillment, which is very important in whatever we do. So that is my definition of an entrepreneurship. So again, based on experience, um, so some of the things that I've learned are, you know, the principles of entrepreneurship, according to me, would be self-awareness. Self-awareness is very important. Um, no matter what you do, you have to understand yourself first. Only then you will understand what is going on around you. So you know your strengths, your weaknesses, uh, what triggers you, what stresses you out. All of those things are very important. And it's also that you have to know who you are, what you want, so you can go ahead and get what you want. So self-awareness is number one on my list. Then selecting the right business. So when you want to get into a business, it's not enough if you just have an idea. You have to make sure that you're getting into the right business, and that comes uh, to to me, it comes with experience. So when you work a job, you understand a lot of things, and with that experience and knowledge, you will be able to make better decisions, including picking the right business as well. And the third thing is the team that you work with. So they always say you are who you surround yourself with, which is very true when you want to be an entrepreneur. So it's important to pick your team carefully. And another thing is, it is very important to have empathy. Empathy, there's an interesting story, because my dad is a very compassionate human being. So the every thing that he does is always keeping other people in his mind. So for me, though I don't completely agree with that all the time, I learned from him that there are situations where you have to have that empathy, whether it's your client, it's your employee, it's anybody. It's very important. And one of the things that people forget as they keep going forward in their business is that they lose the human element. But my father always taught me, no matter what you do, always stay humble, and it's very important to be grounded. And baby steps. So when starting a business, it's very important to take baby steps. First, build the foundation, take small steps, build it, and keep building on top of it. This also makes sure that your risks are not that huge. The risks are smaller, and when you make sure you're taking calculated risks, so that makes that helps you build a better foundation. company culture. Company culture is another important thing. It's very important for any business to define their core values. Core values are something that's very important, that has to be understood by you as an entrepreneur, understood by your employees, and then you're making sure that your clients understand that as well. So it's very important to build a company culture that will help you establish your business for a longer period of time. And assessing capital, this is one of my favorites, because I am not a number cruncher. I hate crunching numbers. I think one of my professors is or might be watching this webinar, and I don't think she'd be happy hearing this, but yes, I don't like number crunching. So the best way I do it, at least now, is I have my accounting person send me a report every a month. So for me, I just look at the numbers and I see what I have to do for the next month. But initially, when I started, I had my own Excel sheet in my own for my own understanding, that I would just type in some numbers and I would just know, okay, where is the money coming from, where is the money going. So it's very important to do that every step of the way. Even if it's an established business, it's one of the most important things that you have to do. Okay, what is the process in entrepreneurship? The first thing is, it's important to recognize opportunity. Um, opportunity, there's opportunity everywhere. So currently, with this COVID situation going on, for us in the US, um, in fact, I would say my office has been closed since March. I haven't stepped out of the house maybe 3 times, because I had to go do some paperwork for my business. But other than that, for any other reasons, I did not step out of the house. So my groceries, everything was delivered to my doorstep. And we use Amazon here. There are other options as well, but Amazon is one of the companies that most people are using. So by talking to people in India, I kind of see that opportunity does. I mean, there is an opportunity for an entrepreneur in that area. Um, if somebody can, just grab that and see what they can make out of it, that would be a very good opportunity in a country like India. And right now in this COVID situation, people are risking their lives going outside just to buy milk or, eggs or bread or whatever whatever their needs are. So it's very important to recognize the opportunity and start acting on it. Sorry. The next thing is, once you know the opportunity exists, you have to do your analysis. Basically, the market, your target audience, your competition, and all of those things have to be analyzed. And then comes the finances, my favorite. So when it comes to finances, it's very important that you start managing finances at a very young age. It doesn't matter. You have to start a business and then think about managing finances. For me, I think I got a grip on it right from the day I landed in this country. So even as college students in India, it's very important. Maybe manage your pocket money. Start from there. See where you spend more. See where you can even save that money. It's all these small things matter later on in life. So with finances, when you're starting a business, it can come from your family. It can come from venture capitalists. It can come from, you know, from doing a job like how I did, but the management is the whole deal when you're starting up. And then the next is the location and the layout of the business. So you also have to know, based on the kind of business that you're starting, you also have to know that location is very important. If your company is selling products, then you have to be located in a certain area that will cater to needs of customers, easily accessible. But I'm in the IT services business, so I don't have a lot of clients walking into my office, so I can be located anywhere as long as it's accessible by roads. And then the other thing is the layout. Again, your layout depends on who your customers are or who your clients are. And then the next step is setting up the business. This is where you register for your business. You decide what kind of a corporation you want to set up. Here in the US, we have different corporate structures. Based on all of that, consulting with CPA, which is equivalent to CA in India, Chartered Accountant in India. So we consult with them. We start the setting up process. And once we've registered for the company, then the next step is setting up the website. And after that, we set up the business processes as well. Once you start working in your business, the most important thing is to set up a process. Once you have the process in place, then every person that you hire can just fit into the process and they will know exactly what they have to do. So it's very important to define the business process. And I also network with a lot of folks from my industry these days. And the one thing that I see, I would say we are a group of about 300 to 400 entrepreneurs. We had a meeting a couple of months, and I wouldn't say couple of months, last year, towards the end of last year. And we had this session, and it was basically the speaker was questioning on processes, and there was only two of us in that entire group that had our hands up for every question that he was asking. So it's very important to have process in place. I come from a process oriented background, and so did the other entrepreneur, but the others, they do business, but it's not streamlined. So it's very important to have your business streamlined. Then comes managing your business, which is your day-to-day activities, wearing the multiple hats, doing admin jobs, to human resources, to marketing, to sales, to everything. As an entrepreneur, it's very important to know, even if you don't have to do it hands on, you still have to know how everything works in your business. That is very important. And the reason I say that is there have been situations where one person quits. So if, as an entrepreneur, if you're not hands on, then you have to a lot of things can come to a standstill until you find somebody else to fill that role. So if you're hands on, you jump right in, and you know how to handle the whole situation. So it's very important, even not like the mundane daily tasks that you have to keep monitoring, but you have to know how everything works in the different areas of the business. Next comes scaling your business. Once you build a strong foundation, you have everything defined, your process is defined, you have your finances in order, you doing your baby steps and taking calculated risks, and your business eventually grows. And then Once you're in a comfortable position, then you think about scaling the business. It can be whether you want to scale at a national level, you want to target the global markets. It's up to you as an entrepreneur. But then, scaling should also be factored into your entrepreneurial journey, and hiring the right talent. This one for me is, I would say, the most important thing in my business, because I always tell people it's very important to hire character trained skill. And there's a certain set of qualities that I look for when I'm hiring a candidate. It does not have to be, even if that person lacks a particular skill, I'm okay with it. But there's a set of qualities that I look for when I hire somebody. So it's very important to hire the right people for your company. And then the advantages of being an entrepreneur. So the first one, as everyone knows, is being your own boss. The second one is you discover you. The, before my journey started, when I was working a job, there were so many things about myself that I did not know. But then when the struggle started, there were so many things that I learned about myself that, I don't think I would have figured it out otherwise. So, there's a lot of situations you face, there's a lot of things that come your way that show you who you are. It might not be a good thing, but it'll show you, so you can build on it, you can work on it, make it better, and keep going. The next thing is innovation. When you're working for somebody, the company might not have the resources. Even if your idea is a brilliant one, they might not, be able to give you a chance to incorporate your ideas, whatever. But if you're an entrepreneur, innovation should be your thing, and there's always more room for you to keep experimenting, keep coming up with new ideas, and you can work on your ideas. So it gives you the leeway to do that. And being an entrepreneur, every day is a new day. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is check my emails. After that, I don't know what is coming. Though I have a set routine, there's always something that comes up that keeps it challenging, keeps it interesting. So that is one of the advantages of being an entrepreneur. And community involvement. When you are an entrepreneur, you have the opportunity. This might not happen right in the beginning of your journey, but somewhere in a comfortable place, once your business is set, you have everything going on, then you can take out a little bit more time and get involved with the community. It can be volunteering, it can be, doing anything with a group of people, helping them out. And by doing that, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. It helps you learn a lot of other things about other people, about the situations they face. So kind of like a personality development thing on the side as well. So that is important. And it also leads to networking. You get to meet a lot of other people, new ideas. And also giving back to the community is also another thing that is important as an entrepreneur. Disadvantages. Entrepreneurship dominates your life. There is not a day that I am away from my business. Though I have this rule that we work from 9 to 6. After 6 o'clock, I don't call my employees, whatever it is. But I cannot have a sick day off. I cannot shut off my phone if I have to travel. So, you know, it takes over your life. You have to kind of try to find a balance, and that is something that everybody handles their own way. Somewhere along the line, we just kind of figure out how we're going to do this. But initially, yes, it is very difficult. It takes over every single aspect of your life. No guaranteed paycheck. So when you start initially, it's not, there is no guarantee you will get a paycheck from your business. I remember when I started, after I quit my job, I came back um, full time taking care of the business. Our payroll is run on the 15th of every month. So everybody, all the employees' paychecks would go on direct deposit, the ACH. And mine was the only one that used to be a manual check. So I would wait until the end of the month to go deposit my check in my bank account. So it's very that's the kind of um, sacrifices that you have to do along the way, which can be a good thing, which can be uncomfortable sometimes as well. Patience. This quality is, you know, it's not about being patient with people, being patient with certain situations. It's about being patient to, you know, to wait and to build and to then finally see your all your efforts bear fruit. That's the patience I'm talking about, because these days, and in my business, we are constantly hiring IT professionals. So I interact with you know, generations younger, with a whole totally different mindset, where everything has to be instant. So you know, there is no instant in anything. You have to be patient. You have to work towards achieving what you want to achieve. You have to wait to enjoy the rewards. So that is very important. Stress levels. I used to always think that you know, stress is a made up word. In fact, when we were growing up in India, you know, stress was not a word that ever came out of anybody in our family. Uh, Nothing. So when I came to the United States, everybody was talking about stress, and I didn't understand what exactly did they mean by it. So when I worked jobs, I was doing fine. I was handling everything okay. And then when I started my business, initially the struggles, with all the struggles, and the time factor too, because I used to work 17 hours a day. I used to work 9 to 5 at my other job, and then after that I used to come back and take care of a lot of other things. So that was 17-hour days. So then I understood what stress was. There were times I've cried. There were times where I wanted to run off to a mountain top and scream my head off. So, you know, we just have to learn how to handle stress. So that and there's no guarantee that your stress levels are going to remain the same. It's like a very interesting graph. It'll go up and come down and go. So as an entrepreneur, it's very important to be prepared to face those stress levels as well. The no get rich quick schemes. There is there is no instant immediate rich uh, way. There's absolutely nothing that unless you hit a jackpot in a lottery or something, then maybe. But then when the reason I say that is because Over a period of time, I've been reading about a lot of people coming up with courses that say you make $1 million in a month, in a week, in a day. No, those things don't work. There is no get rich quick scheme that works. And then um, we have the taxation issues when, as an entrepreneur, based on how your corporation is set up, you have you have to understand how the taxation works as well, because here in the US, we every state, the taxes are different. And then we have to file, since I'm in the IT services business, every state that any of my employees work, so if they're working in all of the states of the United States, I have to file taxes in all of those states, and I have to make sure they're done on time. So those are a lot of things that and a lot of information that, you know it's kind it's really hectic. And if you don't do those on time, like filing even local taxes, state taxes, it gets it keeps accumulating, and then you end up paying a lot of penalties. So that is an advantage here. But I'm not very sure about the structure in India. And then immigration. This applies to entrepreneurs that want to open up a business here in the United States. And when it has anything to do with technology, then of course, most of the um, employees that you tend to hire come from various other countries than the local candidates here. So with that, there is a lot of paperwork, and there is a lot of other things that we have to consider. And in my company, I personally take care of immigration work. I don't trust anybody to do it. I do it myself. So that gets a little difficult. The cash flow issues. Sorry. The cash flow issues are, um, you know, every person, every entrepreneur will tell you that, the cash flow issues, it can, it, I mean, you can get to a comfortable position, but you also have to know how to manage your cash flow. That is very important. It can be, it'll seem like you're doing everything, you have everything going on, but then, something like COVID strikes, and it throws you off balance. No matter how good you're doing, you're still thrown off balance. So I think for the future entrepreneurs, this COVID should be a very good lesson to make sure that they even prepare for that, for a situation like that, so that way they manage their cash flow properly. Okay. Once you have everything going on, then comes, growing your business. So things slightly get different from right when you start off to when you start thinking about growing your business. So these are some of the things I think is very important. So the first one is you manage your business, but you also have to learn to delegate. That is very important. As the company grows, your small task could grow into a giant size task that would be a full 8-hour shift that would require your full attention. So how are you going to look at other aspects of your business? So the key is to delegate. So, and for someone like me, 100% delegation is just not possible. So I would still hold on to a 10%, but I would delegate the 90% because I need to know what is going on. The second thing is manage your time. So what I do personally, that has helped me is I have fixed time slots to do certain things, because I do immigration work myself as well. So that also needs my attention. So I split my time as to, how many hours for each of the roles that I take on. The next thing is keep studying your competition. That is very important. Things are constantly changing. There's every single day, there's something that's changing, and when you're in the IT sector, it changes by the second. And now with COVID, it there's so many changes and so much going on that everybody has become more dependent on technology. So there's all kinds of new things that keep coming up in IT. So it's very important that you look at an opportunity. You see if you can, your business is going to be able to kind of support that and help you grow. Then it's very important. So study your competition so you can stay ahead, or at least stay at the same level as your competition is. Learn new things. This is something that I constantly try to do, even if I have time to watch TV, or even when I'm on the phone, talking to friends, family. I'm on the other end. I'm constantly reading. I'm reading about something or the other. So that has helped me over the years. This constant reading keeps me informed about a lot of things that happen in my particular industry. The other thing is marketing. Marketing is very important. Since I am from Coimbatore, my mom's father had an engineering company where they manufactured pump sets and grinders, and back in those days he was one of the first people to start those the engineering industry. So what happened was he was 100% technical, but he didn't believe in marketing. So the people that he trained later on went and founded companies. They were more into marketing, and by the time my uncle had taken over and started the marketing process, they were way ahead of um, what uh, my grandfather's company was trying to do. So marketing is very important. You have to always make sure that you constantly keep marketing your company. So even if today, if a client does not require your business, they might need it later. If you're selling something to a customer, they might not need it now, but your constant marketing efforts will keep reminding them that you exist. So if that need comes up, they'll know where they have to come. So marketing is very important. Treat your employees well. This is another thing that I learned from my family, which is you know it's very important to treat your employees well. The reason for doing that is, when people are treated well, there is a better connection. There is loyalty. There is gratitude. There's a lot of things that an employee can give you, and also it's important for us to be loyal to our employees as well. So a small story for treating your employees well. So my mom's dad, the engineering industry founder, all of his employees, um, whoever had sons, they all they're all engineers today. So, and this did not happen without the encouragement and support of my grandfather or my uncles. It just didn't happen that way. They made sure, okay, if the watchman's son wanted to be an engineer, my uncle would jump up and be ready to support him. Um, when I was little, I watched one of the things that happened. One of the employees, his son wanted to learn English. So every day in the morning after my uncle would read the newspaper, he will make it a point that he carries the newspaper to the company so he can give it to his employee, who in turn will give it to his son so he can read the newspaper. So there were a lot of things that they did. So I would say it's very important to treat the employees well. Track your finances again. So this is, you have to do this at every step of the way. Team performance. Once you have a whole bunch of people working for you, it's very important that you have performance evaluations in place. You make sure you communicate their performance evaluation, not just a remark saying that, oh, you know, your performance wasn't good or your performance is excellent. No, give them tools and tips on how they can improve the performance. And another thing that I learned along the way was, um, it's very difficult to fire a person. At least for me personally, it's very difficult. So even before I open my mouth, the previous day, um, in the evening, I would think about their family. I would think about a lot of things. But then, you know, there's, you have to do what you have to do. That is one thing I learned along the way. If you have to let somebody go, you have to let them go. There's nothing that you can do. So, so it's very important to keep the performance um, evaluations in place, give them feedback, help them improve, and then if it doesn't, then you have to let them go. The next one is customer satisfaction. This is another very important thing. A satisfied customer will always come back to you. So it's required that sometimes we have to go out of the way to provide them the services, or maybe even above what they have asked for. So that way they always keep coming back, and then you may also gain some referrals in the process. Networking is another very important thing. Once we get to the top, it is very lonely. In fact, I think almost all entrepreneurs will agree with me on this, because when I started the business, I had a very tough time, because um, I didn't have like-minded individuals around me. People that I studied with over here in the US, they looked at me, like I was a whole different um, league. I don't like the word, but yeah, but so it, so you're unable to discuss certain things where you know that it's beyond people's understanding. So when you're networking with like-minded individuals, there's a lot of things that you have in common. You give knowledge and you gain knowledge. So networking is another important thing. The last but not the least, with all of the stress, with all of whatever is going on, the stress levels, with even COVID situation going on. Sorry. The most important thing is to make sure that we as entrepreneurs stay healthy. We also have to make sure that our employees stay healthy as well. So thank you guys so much.
So, participants, any questions, you can please go ahead, and if you want, you can open the mic and you can ask the question in Google Hangout. And YouTube participants, you can post your questions on the chat box. She will be answering, the speaker will be the answering. So, please go ahead with your questions. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. This is Anusha. I think Nishi will be remembering me.
Oh, Anusha Prabha. Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Fine. Doing good. It is really great hearing from you the experiences and everything you presented.
Thank you so much, Anusha.
I felt really happy to from hearing you after a long time.
I know, I know.
I think it's been 20 years.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
great
long
hearing about
time.
your experiences.
Thank you, Anusha. I'm
When
so
you got
glad
the
we could.
webinar invitation, no, after seeing your name, I just text our director that you're my classmate. I was excited and I was waiting to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you,
so
thank you,
happy.
thank you, dear.
And Nishi, there is a question from a YouTube participant named Jagan.
Okay.
Can you share any incidents in your business which was something memorable?
Okay. Any incident? Okay. Yeah, sure. Um, Thank you, Jagan, for the question. When it um comes to interesting, there's a few incidents, but the one that uh, pops up in my head was one of the things that I learned um, while in my journey. It's very important to have when certain communication is going on. It is very important to have a presence of another individual in the process. So one of the things that happened was I was in the process of letting one of the employees go. I communicated that to him. It got into a kind of a violent situation. He started yelling and screaming inside the office, and literally it I wouldn't say interesting. It was very scary, um, because here we are supposed to call the cops to take care of a situation like that, and I'm personally not a fan of doing that. And he sat in front of the office for a few hours, and then he left. And then the next day he showed up in the evening, and he was standing right next to my car. um, so that was a little bit scary. um, and the way I kind of handled that situation was, I could have reported him, but we didn't want to go down that process. So I had one of my other employees call him and, kind of give him a subtle warning that this was not how things are supposed to happen in this country. And then after that, the trouble was gone. So, and there are a lot of other things that keep happening. So when you said interesting, this is what popped up in my head. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Nishi. And the questions from the YouTube have been pasted in the chat box of the Google Meet. One from Krishnan Lal. How to tackle the current situation?
Okay, the current situation as in COVID.
I hope so.
Okay, as an entrepreneur, okay, the first thing is we have to worry about safety. That is the number one thing. So for that, we are forced to work from home, which is not very exciting. What we do is we hang out on Google Meet during the work hours. So at least that gives everybody the feel of, you know, being at least being able to see each other and communicate. So that's kind of help. The second thing is it's a tough thing on everybody. Um, on the
And
business on.
this,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the next question is from Samuel. Ma'am, what is that quality you look into from employees?
Okay, there, there's a way of talking, the patience, honesty, uh, kindness. Those are the things, and maybe I don't have the whole list right now, but I have a whole set of questions that I ask to get the answer, and I mean, that kind of brings out the qualities that I'm looking for, and that's how I make my decisions.
Thanks, Nishi, for answering the questions so patiently. And there is not much questions. And any other
Patipati,
questions?
just a minute. Nishi,
Yes, sir.
good afternoon.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
sorry. Yeah, it was a wonderful presentation and your experiences. I have a couple of questions.
Sure, thank you, sir.
You do a lot of services to the companies in the US. You have standardized product or you customize your product to the customers?
We do customized products, sir, and more than actually products. Right now, what is more in demand is the services area of the business. So
That's right.
there's
That's going to be the case. Different companies have different technologies.
yes.
So will it be challenging for you? Do you take care of those requirements also? You have people in all technologies to support your services?
Yes, sir. Say in the IT services sector, there's again, different models, business models. So one
Okay.
is you have your own employee, you have a requirement, and you fulfill that requirement. The next one is, your employee does not fit that need, but you go outside and um, you have partner companies that you work with where you source the candidate from them, and then you uh, provide the client with that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Nishi, would you like to share a few words for the young women's entrepreneur?
Yes, is there a time limit for that? I can go on about that the whole day.
Probably 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. Okay, for the women entrepreneurs, the most important thing for us to always remember is, one of the most common things that always come up, which is gender inequality. So it might exist, it might not exist, but for us, we have to pretend like it doesn't exist, and we have to keep moving forward no matter what we have to do. Most of us have experienced it, have seen it, but don't let that affect you. Being a woman is a wonderful thing. Be proud of that. If you have it in you, you know you can achieve it, just go for it. It's very important. And again, just a 30-second story. When I was um, um, trying to learn to ride a bicycle, my dad initially, he said, it's time you learn how to ride the bicycle. I told him, girls don't ride bicycles. So he says, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, just learn how to ride the bicycle. After that comes the bike, and after that comes the car, after that comes the tractor, whatever, because it doesn't matter who you are. You have to be in a situation where if there's an emergency, whatever vehicle is available to you, you have to jump on it and you have to go. So it's very important as women to remember that we have our strengths, but we have to acknowledge our weaknesses as well. But by strengths, I don't mean, and with this generation, it's become a very common thing that we say equality. Okay, equality is not about putting the other gender down. It's about working together. It's about respecting each other. So those things are very important values that will help you in your personal life as well. So be focused, go for it, do what you have to do, respect other people, be human. That's very important.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Nishi. And over to you, Director Sir, so we can conclude the session.
Thank you, Pati, and thank you, Nishita, for your wonderful presentation and sharing your experiences. No
Thank
doubt
you,
that
sir.
you have been awarded so many awards. After hearing you, your revolutionary attitude. You revolutionize a lot of things. So I hope that you go to greater heights, and
Thank you so much,
maybe
sir.
we will keep in touch and work together and share more things with the students. Thank
Yes,
you for
sure.
your time and for the presentation. And I also thank ZillionCubes for helping us to have this session. Thank you, Pati, for all the support that you have given. Thank you. Thank you all for being patient with us for the last 1.5 hours. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Once again, thank you, 100%.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And thank you, Nishi. And thank you, all
Thank
the
you.
participants. And a feedback link is shared both in the Google Hangout as well as in the YouTube. Kindly provide the feedback. Thank you so much.